written and directed by avant-garde Canadian auteur Guy Maddin, also co-written and co-directed by his creative partners Evan Johnson and Galen Johnson.
Guys.
This movie stars Cate Blanchett and an incredible supporting cast of great character actors. Too many to name. Go look them up. Also, we get Alicia Vikander in a kind of a cameo. Rumours takes place at the annual G7 conference. It's a big, trippy, crazy political satire movie. It takes place at the G7, where the leaders of some of the world's largest economies meet to plan the future of global capitalism. You got Cate Blanchett doing Angela Merkel. You got a Justin Trudeau. You got Charles Dance with a British accent as the president of the United States doing sort of Biden.
He's like falling asleep the whole movie.
Yeah. But in Rumours, all these leaders get lost in the woods while trying to compose a joint statement on some unspecified global crisis, and they have to work together to return to civilization, fighting against fog, bizarre ailments, a giant glowing brain in the woods, undead bog creatures, and other challenges. It's a Guy Maddin movie, baby. Joe, what'd you think of Rumours?
I didn't love Rumours. I really had trouble getting into it. A lot of things up top that I like I liked all the acting, and the writing was jaunty, and it would remind you sort of a broad farce, like an ensemble farce, and it was charming in that respect. And I found the horror elements and the plotting, charming in fits and starts. But I didn't think this movie was particularly Guy Maddin-y. It didn't look. I've only seen My Winnipeg, so when you say Guy Maddin avant-garde to me, I think of okay, that kind of a thing, like collage-y documentary kind of thing. It's not that. It's not that at all.
It looks like a movie. It looks more like a movie than other Guy Maddin movies.
Like a small movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't really. So I didn't really get any Guy Maddin.
Tonally, though,
I guess tonally it was jaunty and charming in spots. And I think political satire is hard. We're all live in a Iannucci'd existing world, and then B, we all get inundated with politics, and it's just kind of hard to find a new tone that really is biting but also sort of fun. And the movie didn't have a ton of teeth, and it was just sort of a fun fuck around. I couldn't get into it, and it was okay.
Yeah. I'm reminded of our reviews of The Substance, but with the roles reversed. Because the reason I didn't like The Substance, because I was expecting a lot more kind of message and substance, you just were like, no, it's just a fun body horror thing. And similarly with Rumours, I agree. Ultimately, despite all the sound and fury, I don't think this movie has a whole lot to say about politics or the moment or anything. But I really enjoyed it for a simple reason. It really made me laugh. I just thought it was really funny. I thought it was a really funny, weird movie. All the gags cracked me up. I will forever hear the sound of the Canadian Prime Minister snapping the condom off after he has sex with Cate Blanchett in the woods. Yeah. It's it's the best. It's like the old movie thing where they go in to kiss and then you cut to them in the bed afterwards. But in this case, he's so the Justin Trudeau guy with the top knot is really so funny. Yeah. It's so funny. But he just snaps this condom off and then just callously tosses it into the woods. Oh, it just cracked me up. I thought the depiction of the world leaders was hilarious. They are these gently idiotic, deeply vulnerable people, and they're soap opera characters almost. They are so unprepared for the enormity of their jobs, and they are so immersed and obsessed with tiny little grievances and and insecurities. I thought they were very, very funny, and the actors made it even funnier by giving these intense, dedicated performances, doing that thing I love where you take you take a silly thing seriously. Yeah. I think creates really great comedy. So I had a lot of fun in this movie. I laughed a lot. I did like the style and the tone of it. It is very different from what you might know of Guy Maddin if you've seen Saddest Music in the World or My Winnipeg or some of these older movies that he's done. It's initially you want to compare it to Lord of the Flies because it's civilized people descending into chaos and barbarism out in the woods. But I actually think the better comparison is Midsummer Night's Dream because of the way it's shot. Because even though the characters are descending into this sort of muddy, brutal survivalism, and it's all about the collapse of civilization all around them, it is filmed in this dreamy, surreal way, and the woods are accented with these neon lights, and the fog is rolling around. And it was almost like a Midsummer Midsummer Night's Dream just like a mystical descent into the woods for one night, and
I think on purpose, man.
Yes, right.
Sure.
It really feels like that, and I like that tone. I thought that was
Me
a
too.
very fun tone for this plot, and a very interesting pairing of a political satire with this sort of dreamy, almost pagan sort of like older form of storytelling. Like I said, I don't really think the movie has a whole lot to say about our current moment. Ultimately, the point, as I think with a lot of Guy Maddin movies, and this is the commonality, is it's just kind of about the experience of watching the movie. It's just like a stylish, interesting, avant-garde kind of experience.
So Canadian.
It's so Canadian,
it's just
so
like
deeply
low
Canadian.
stakes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like, here's a fun thing.
it's like
Maybe you like it.
It's
very
like Peter
Canadian.
Greenaway if the humor was just like a little more juvenile. Like if the humor was a little more kind of like
That's not really my feeling.
no.
I just can't get there, man. I'm sorry. With the Greenaway comps.
I'm not
going to get
You
there.
always hold me to like the letter of my comps. I'm just giving people ballpark comparisons. You always like Guy Maddin is not Peter Greenaway. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he is like it's if you're looking for a comp, it is Greenaway with like a sort of like with like a more like toilet sense of humor. is Guy
very
Maddin.
Canada.
Yeah.
Just like Strange Brew meets Draftsman Contract.
All right,
I feel that.
One very, very funny thing though, that pedophile text bot is very funny.
That was funny.
Very funny. The way that they like reconnect with society and kind of get their phones working again is at some point like all the world governments had combined to create this like AI that was used to like target potential pedophiles. So it's an AI that like texts your phone as though it's a young kid, and it's trying to like lure. It's like To Catch a Predator, trying to like lure you into. And for some reason, like all the world governments teamed up to create this AI, and then the AI is what starts texting them out in the woods, and that's what sort of draws them back into civilization. And so the Justin Trudeau character is like texting with this pedophile text bot, and they're being like, you have to like act like you're interested, or it won't talk back. That's hilarious.
It was
That's
funny.
very funny.
It was funny.
I
liked it.
I liked Rumours. It was me and one other guy alone in the theater, and we were laughing our asses off.
I love that for you guys.
All right.